had to shut down my sports team. It is what it is.
They been on their ass, bitch, I'm on the rail. I wrap it, I bag it, I pack it for sale. Got feeling on speed out, hit me a chill. I give it a thrill, I put it on film. Niggas facade, get applaud, that ain't real. Come to my section and flex, we can tell. I got a show and she dipping them nails. I'm flipping my L's, I know they can tell. I did it too major, they hit me for favors. Been him since the cable was cut in the cradle. What's up, only right that I do it. Colossal until I'm a fossil, they want me to fail. Look, we prevail. Tell them to point out who said that they run it. Bitch, I'm on your tail. Know that they talking, they telling them tales. Just know how to tell, that shit for the sale. Yeah.
Honestly, I know it's hard to believe, but you have to trust me. It's got maximum taste and zero sugar.
Stop playing games, wooden boy.
No, I'm a real boy.
Pepsi Max. Maximum taste, zero sugar. Try and believe.
What do you see here? Maybe history, or maybe it's the future.
Amarte mi consola. Amame ancora, fallo dolcemente.
Tonali plug-in hybrid, a new charge of sportiness.
Oh, that was a good start. Well, that was a fabulous start. No idea why my microphone was not going through, but I'll try that once again. Good evening, everyone. How are we doing? We're back again for Ultimate Masters round number 7 at Brazil today. So we could expect some very high track temperature and possibly spots of rain on the track. But we'll see how that goes. But as always, I've got the lovely Mike with me in the wonderful comms booth today. And Mike, how you doing? And what are your opinions and thoughts on this track today?
I am doing fantastic and definitely looking forward to this one. The Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. Absolutely incredible circuit. We've seen so many iconic races, not only in real life, but also in terms of league racing as well around this iconic track. And around this 4.3 kilometer circuit is going to be a very intriguing one with these guys out there.
Yeah, it is 110%. A lot of wheel-to-wheel action. Many overtaking opportunities. I wouldn't know if any overtaking opportunities possibly in Sector 2 in turns 7, 8 and 9. That could be a possibility, but it is a bit of a lunge to some of the corners. But yeah, lots of opportunities for overtaking. Big question is though, Mike, are we expecting any rain, would you say, today? At all?
Well, I mean, Brazil is one of those tracks where there's a decent chance for some changeable conditions, some wet weather coming out to play. So I wouldn't rule it out that we do have a bit of a wet period in this race. And
yeah,
in terms of like overtaking opportunities, I mean, it's got the middle sector. I mean, as you said, very difficult to make an overtaking opportunity. I think realistically, obviously you got the run down into turn 4, which is start of sector 2, the Cida de Lago, and obviously if you get a good run out of turn 4 and 5 up through the Ferradura, turn 6, into turn 8 is a possible overtaking opportunity down the inside or trying to hang it around the outside. We've seen so many people going side by side there, and potentially turn 10 as well. Like, they're the only places I can see possible overtakes happening in sector 2.
Yeah, 110%. But while we're waiting to get going in the lobby and get everything sorted, let's actually have a look at the what we're gonna say, the team standings, because as we move over to those lovely teams and lovely points, what was it? I believe it is CPI taking a hefty lead, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, CPI, for the mid part of the season, have definitely put the pressure on. They finally overtook Relentless, of course, going into last week. And, of course, not a very fruitful race for Relentless, and it was very successful for CPI. So they have extended their gap at the top. I mean, they're sitting on 223 points and Relentless on 206. A decent gap to try and close back for Relentless, but the way things are going right now, I mean, I think CPI are just going to go ahead and cruise away now.
That's what I'm thinking, because obviously they've been getting a lot of, P1s, P2s, and stuff like that. Obviously, you want to score as many points as you can. So we'll see today with Brazil how they get on, and if team orders come into key factor and key play. But having a look on the team standings once again, of course, we had a new team called Optic Racing Team, and they're not doing too bad. I mean, they've got 73 points. And do you know what's crazy, Mike? As they're a new team, they're actually catching Elite Racing Team and slowly but surely catching LNR Esports and possibly TTL Esports. So do you think Optic Racing could be in a chance to take a few more positions with the team standings-wise?
Absolutely. I mean, there's still a few races to go in the season. So, like, in terms of where they could get to, I think they're looking at possibly getting into the top 5. Obviously, Velocity isn't massively ahead of them. They've just been a consistent team since joining. So, they can definitely get themselves up there, ORT, and definitely going to be a bit of pressure on the likes of ERT, LRN, and TTL to try and keep them behind now.
Yeah, 110%. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the team standings. We're just waiting to get going with the lobby to make sure everybody is in, and once they are, we'll get going for a quick 18-minute short qualifying, and then a lovely 36 laps around Brazil. Such a, I would say, interesting track to watch for overtaking, wheel to wheel. The grid will probably be tight again. CPI may use their advantage to help each other out with a bit of tow on the, I would say, exit of 12 down to 1 maybe. You never know, because you can get a really good tow from there, you know, plus ERS and DRS and a tow. Absolutely insane. I'm guessing whilst we're still waiting, we could probably talk about the point system, couldn't we, Mike? You know, of course, everybody's probably thinking, you know, the points the same, top 10 score, when actually it's not. Every single position on the grid will score a point from P1 down to P19. So, points are a little bit different. Of course, first place gets 30 points, second would get 25, third would get 20, fourth would get 17, etc. Onwards and downwards, and so on. That's how the point system works. Yeah, that's how the teams have got so many points high up, and that's how CPI are, like you said, Mike, they are slowly just cruising away, and their hand are ever so close to touching the trophy of potentially, if it all goes well for them, season 2 champions. So, could that be a possibility?
Absolutely. I mean, what's called, just looking back, I mean, obviously, going into round 3 was when we really started to see CPI begin to put the pressure on. Obviously, Relentless at that point were on 120 points, and this compiles the CPI dominance as well as the Relentless fall off in the mid part of the season, because now, obviously, Relentless on 206 points, so they've managed a total of 86 points, and CPI have overturned the 30-point deficit they were at, and they've now got almost a 20-point lead now.
Yeah, that is very true. You know, like you say, Relentless were really good at the start of the season, and they've just really fallen off the pace. And then CPI coming on through. And as you say, a few more races, right? We've got roughly 3 more to go. After this one today, it'll be Singapore, France, and then Belgium to round it off and top it off. So that could be a little bit interesting for drivers wanting to, you know, get their foot in the door a little bit more and prepare for qualifying a little bit more, maybe a little bit more practice and a bit more aggression in the race to save their positions and track position wise, as we've only got 3 more races to go. And you never know, CPI could potentially be crowned champions within the next race, or the race after that, which would be France. But maybe today, if Relentless somehow fall completely off the pace and just completely flop. But I doubt that'll happen, because Relentless are going to try and chuck everything at CPI today to try and take back the top spot and put on a challenge for an exciting and phenomenal end to the season.
Yeah, and of course, Oscar, the one thing that CPI have managed to do, and they've done it very well in the mid part of the season, is of course working together as a team. They have done that very successfully, and we're probably going to be seeing it again here.
Yeah.
Obviously, side-by-side action, giving each other the tow when they need it, keeping each other within DRS range to tow each other along in the race. That all adds up coming through the races and over the laps. It has really helped CPI not only close the gap down, as we mentioned on Relentless, but also overtake them and extend the lead. But Relentless have had a few issues as of late in that. You know, they've had one driver that does tend to be a little bit further down, and that's of course bringing X Esports into play. And X have been slowly closing in on Relentless as well, so we can't rule them off of potentially having a strong final part of the season to potentially close up on not only Relentless but maybe even CPI as well if they fall off a cliff.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll just wait and see what happens, and there's not much movement happening in the pit lane just yet. Every driver's just waiting, which is normally quite interesting at Ultimate Masters, because like me and Mike experience, drivers would be coming out now, and they are coming out right about now. But normally, drivers waiting a minute is quite interesting, but there's no game sound, so bear with. I'm trying to fix why there is no game sound. That's a great start. Let me think what's going on here. I had a crash on my side.
Are you good?
Huh. Hey, sorry?
You good?
There we go, now I've got game sound, there we are. Okay, got no idea what was happening there, but we'll retreat and go back to the Elgato capturing, hopefully, and crack on with this exciting race. There we go. I've got game sound, no idea what happened there, but Mike, the track now getting busy, as always. Why don't you take us on a lap with, I believe it's the Haas of Vet, who's about to come around turn number 10 and now 11 to approach sector 3 to start his lap. Why don't you take us on board and show us how he gets on around this track and take us a tour as well on the track as well.
Yeah, so on board with Vet as he comes out of Zhengzhou through turn 12 as he climb up the hill to get us underway. DRS wide open as we run down in towards turn number 1 to begin the Senna S's. Braking just after the 15-meter board, going down third gear there for Vet as we come through the Senna S's and now through Curva de Sol. Onto the second DRS straight, coming down in towards turn number 4 to Cida do Lago as breaking down at around 100 meters down into fourth gear, getting the car rotated. Good traction on the exit and through turn 5 we go. Climbing up the hill now towards Ferradura, and this is where we could be seeing a potential overtaking opportunity as we break down hard into turn number 8. And getting good rotation in the middle sector is absolutely key as you go through turn 9. Good traction out here could really help you out coming into turn 10, another overtaking opportunity. Good traction out of exit of turn 10 here through turn 11, and now heading towards Zhengzhou once again. The final braking zone on the track. Nothing to do now but put your foot to the floor, climb up the hill and wait for that DRS to be activated as we come towards the start finish line now. Keeping it tight to the line to minimize the distance. To the line will come Vet, and he goes on provisional pole with a 8.4.
Oh, that's a mighty lap time there from the Haas, and as always, Mike, excellent commentary and a tour around the lovely track of Brazil. We've got a few more drivers coming around the final couple of chicanes, turns, etc. As we've got Mercedes Aroma going on pole position, a 108.0, so almost in the 107s, ever so close. David across the line, a 108.4. Wessel up to P2 now, a 108.1 for him, and then Spec up to the 108.084. So not far off P1 at the moment, but P1 and P2 very, very close on the fine line of getting into that 107 territory. Anybody else? Bream has invalidated on their lap times. I believe they're going to push and go again. I believe we had Luke about to cross the line, or I say cross the line, he's crossed it right now, and he's gone P4, a 108.3, and then Fight Me Now bot, the first driver to be storming ahead from the rest of the field in to the 107.8 in the Aston Martin. That is quite something, isn't it, Mike? And more drivers starting to find a lot more lap time, track getting hot and ramping up. Do you think we can see the 106s? Was that too much for asking?
I mean, it could be possible, but I think we're going to be seeing low 1 minute 7. So obviously the track is going to get quicker and quicker as qualifying goes on. But right now we're seeing high mid 1 minute 7s, which I think is looking decent for the low 7 sort of pull time. I'm currently on board with the relentless driver of Taupe coming through now towards the end of his lap. And this is looking pretty decent from the relentless driver thus far, as I've come on board with him a bit late, but he jumps up and it's actually well off the pace, so he looks like he had a good final sector. But his teammate, Yulbream, up there on provisional pole with a 7.6.
Damn, that is pretty impressive. So, one relentless driver in P12 and the other one in P1. So, I could see what you mean. One is performing top notch and the other one is struggling to find lap time and quali pace and just not able to get a good lap together. So this could be, you know, a very good thing for CPI, as one is actually P7 at the moment, and the other teammate is going to be... Where's the other CPI? Oh, CPI of Volcano still in the pit lane and not set a lap time yet. So we're still unknown to see what their pace is like on the track, but hopefully it will be mega and entertaining to watch, as we've got Jesla in that McLaren right now in Sector 2, about to come up to turn at number 10, then 11, then 12, as he's now about to approach the end of Sector 2 to go into Sector 3. Is it purple or is it not? It is a purple sector, so this could mean it's a good quick lap, but sometimes the game can potentially lie about that, so I have to wait and see very, very patiently, as going to have the DRS wide open all the way down to start and finish now. What's it going to be for the McLaren? Is it going to be pole position? It's not. It's only P13, a 108.5 81. So the McLaren not able to find the race pace, as Monkey goes across the line to P13, a 108.5. So some drivers quite close on lap times, gaps marginal, and improvements likely to happen. But yeah, just some drivers are struggling out there.
Yeah, obviously this is a very difficult track to get your eye in on as well, because you can easily lose time here by just outbreaking yourself marginally into certain corners. And of course, Luke there with a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking out on track, and I'm not sure what that is for. Of course, he is a CPI driver
after the qualifying session, because that might be a game glitch, because I know that's happened quite a lot, to be honest. So that could be a potential lobby restart after qualifying is done, but we'll have to wait and see what they say about that.
Yes, I mean, he's going to get himself away though. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things in the game where we just, what we do advocate for is obviously for stuff like this to not affect the racing whatsoever. And of course, if it does mean a lobby restart to sort out the grid post race, obviously you get to hear us chat about all things Ultimate Masters and for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that, but you would think the game would slightly be fixed by now, but my guess is wrong. There's still a few bugs they need to sort and fix, but I flicked on board with Volcano for just a split second as the Mercedes goes to P7 or 108.0, but going back to Volcano, they were purple in Sector 1, so they're on a very high push lap at the moment. I can see if you almost lose the car there on the exit of turn 7 to turn 8, but in Sector 2, the tricky S section now, where if you get it all wrong, your lap time is going to be a complete mess and just everywhere. And yeah, so you want to keep it nice and tight, nice and smooth on the throttle, no major rear end loss, no major issues, as he's now about to approach turn number 12, then the exit of 13, where he'll go all the way down, flat out, foot to the floor to the start and finish, and then DRS opens right about now. And what's it going to be for CPI? Is it going to be a very impressive lap time? And it is. It's P1 and 107.646. P2 currently a 107.637. Top two are very, very close right now. And then 3 and 4, 5 are very, very close. So it's all crazy. And the gamble, it's insane. I have no words. Absolutely crazy.
And is it a little bit iconic that P1 right now is CPI and P2 is relentless, as Yobream is out on track right now. 200s down on his first sector split. But of course he doesn't need to gain a huge amount to take provisional pole back off Volcano. He just needs a good middle sector here as he comes through turn 8 now. Third gear, getting the car rotated, flicking it back to the left to go through turn number 9. Using a lot of the curb on the exit turn line there to try and get a bit more speed through the corner. And now through 11 into Dunchow, and he is 700s off his best, but a good traction out of here can definitely gain him that time on the run up to the line.
Definitely 110%, so we'll see what happens with that one. As there's a few Ferrari, I say a few, I don't know why I'm saying a few, There's one Ferrari driver in Luke right now who's slowing down and letting the guys go by on their quick laps, but it seems that that was not the case, and he's completely flown away now and left them behind. On board with Hope at the moment, and they have completely probably go back into the pit lane and completely done, as I hardly got any battery. But they are improving, it says on my screen, but I'm not too sure if that's true or not. But if it's an improvement, it's only by a slight improvement, so that won't be up by too much. But no, P1 and P2 getting quite close, you know. Obviously, like you said, CPI on top, and then Relentless right behind, which is quite scary, to be honest. So we'll see what happens with these two drivers, if they can, fight out for pole position, as Frank's in that Haas car now on the soft compound, looking like it's going to be a competitive lap time up to the line. And what's it going to be? It's P1 by a tenth. Wow. A 107.579. That's an impressive lap time. Probably one of the lap times I've seen quicker in my league racing history. So that's quite impressive for myself to see that. But now we have, I believe it's Bollets, known as Jeton, I believe is how you say the name, in the Aston Martin, currently in P4 at the moment, hoping to improve right now, as he's in Sector 2, and he's gone purple, but he's only 71 thousandths of a second up on his time right now. So it's all going to be about the exit of turn 12, where he's done dusted, he's gone by now, and it's down all the way to the line, foot to the floor, ERS on, DRS open. What's it going to be for the Aston Martin? It's P3, a 107.6. That's what's crazy, is drivers can improve by like thousandths of a second, and they can go from P8 to P3. Like, that's how close the grid is. It's absolutely crazy. It's insane, but also phenomenal to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, 5 minutes to go now in the session. Obviously, Francis is out there currently on provisional pole with CPI Volcano alongside him. Jenton, Botlet in P3, and Yobrim in P4. And the interesting thing is obviously, you know, CPI, XE Sports, Relentless. Obviously, the three teams at the front in terms of the championship. And as it currently stands, XE Sports, obviously the team that are in third, currently performing the best in qualifying as a pairing, because you got Gaitend in P3, and of course Fighting Elbot in P8, whereas you've got Luca and Taupe all the way down the order in 14th and 19th respectively.
That is very, very true. So quite interesting and quite spectacular, as we like to say, is Volcano there trying to get around his teammate around turn 7, turn 8. That was on the line for track limits there, but somehow he managed to keep it on the track and within track limits. So that's quite impressive. And is he on a flyer on the exit of Sector 2? And he is. He's 96 thousandths of a second up, almost a tenth up on his time. So if he gets within that range and improves by a substantial amount, he could set the new fastest lap. But saying that, he's into the pit lane. So not happy with his lap time. Is it because Luca was it just because it was quite unfortunate for Luca to be in 7 and 8 in Sector 2 at the wrong time there, as Volcano had to avoid? Or what would you say about that, Mike? I don't know if you saw that slight, I wouldn't say incident, but onboard. What would you say about that? You know, like Volcano trying to go around his teammate, but it looked like he got put off there. So could that have been a team misunderstanding, or what would you say?
Yeah, I think a little bit of misunderstanding between teammates here. I mean, it can happen from time to time, but Luca now, this needs to be a big lap from Luca, because he needs to get up there and help his teammate out. Currently around half a second off of Volcano's lap time, which obviously in the grand scheme of things, it's a big gap to gain for Luca, but we're going to see if he can do it as he comes through turn 10 now. And we're going to see if the CPI driver can get himself up there.
Indeed we are. So we wait to see what he can produce, as he's about 2 tenths up on his time right now. So Luca absolutely flying at the moment. Is it going to be a massive improvement on lap time from P14? And It's P6, a 107.760. He'd be very happy with that lap time. Puts him ahead, of course, it puts him ahead of Ariel, Relentless, in P19. So if you've got CPI of Volcano up there and Luca up there, you know they're scoring good points today, which they need to keep doing.
Yeah, and this is why there's so much pressure on Relentless Taupe right now. He's currently down in P19. He's done a 1 minute 9 flat. Only man in the 1 minute 9s. Everyone else is in the 1 minute 8s or lower. And there's so much pressure now on this final run for Taupe. He needs to get himself up the order massively.
He does indeed now. Riding on board with Bream in that Red Bull. He's going to have a lot of traffic to dodge and get through now. So we're going to run on board with him to see how he gets on. 7 and 8. Driver, thank goodness, I believe he moved out of the way just in the nick of time. But look at these gaggle of cars he's got to get through here. The Alfa Romeo needs to, there you go, slightly move out of the way. The Mercedes needs to stay there. It's chaos. I have no idea how the Red Bull is getting through this carnage, but as he's getting through the carnage, he is 25 thousandths of a second down at the moment. Is it going to be an improvement as qualifying is slowly coming to an end with 50 seconds remaining up to the line, and it's only going to be P3 at 107.6. So that is Bream's qualifying done and dusted. Can anybody behind him potentially improve? We're now on board Volcano, currently in P2, as Frank is chilling in P1 at the moment with the quickest lap time of 107.5. But can Volcano spoil the party and slap CPI on pole position, which they'll hopefully be hoping for, as about to come to the exit of Sector 2, and he's only 82 thousandths of a second up. Is that going to be enough?
That's enough.
We'll have to wait to see.
That's enough as it currently stands.
That is true. It is enough, but is he able to keep together? Up to the line now. What's it going to be? Is it? Apparently it's not. A 107.602. So Volcano will not take pole position here at Brazil. Can anybody else spoil the party? I know there's a lot of cars right now coming to the end of their qualifying laps and invalidating, like the McLaren is into the pit lane. The Mercedes of Roma up to the line, they have invalidated, so they will not be setting any competitive lap times. Henke as well in the Alfa Romeo, not able to get a valid lap time in. But Guyton, sorry, up into P2 now, a 107.5, very, very close to P1. Spec up to the line, it's only going to be P5, and he stays P5. Improves ever so slightly at 107.6. Can anybody else maybe fight me now, box, and spoil the party? He is up on his time ever so slightly.
It's going to be close as he comes to the line, and
only P6, or he stays P6, but there you are. Anybody else? No, that's it. So, something that's caught my eye is ORT, Optic Racing Team, aren't really where they want to be today. Normally they're in the top 10, but now one's in 16th, one's in 13th, so maybe they're struggling to find quali pace as well. So we'll see how that gets on. And of course, as well, we are going to get a official lobby restart, as we had that infringement of a time penalty, which was a little bit harsh. So we're going to get that sorted and just wait for the Williams to get into the pit lane, which they have. But wow, isn't that crazy? Like, CPI, not where they would want to be today. So Volcano starts P3 and his teammate starts P7. Of course, they're ahead of Relentless, because obviously Luca is behind Bream, but Volcano's ahead of Bream. But obviously Luca is ahead of the driver of the other Relentless, which is down quite far down, I believe in P19. But look at that, all separated by a tenth almost. But what's also crazy, all within a second. And the top 4, or should I say top 5, or even 6th and 7th, they are not separated by much, which is really impressive. But Frank on pole, Guyton in P2, and Volcano finishing it off with P3. That was fantastic. We are going to get a lobby restart though, so bear with. We're going to play a quick advert and then I'll be right back and we'll get things sorted. So see you guys in a mo.
They been on their ass, bitch, I'm on the rail. I wrap it, I bag it, I pack it for sale. Got feeling on speed out, hit me to chill. I give it a thrill, I put it on film. Niggas facade, get applaud, that ain't real. Come to my section and flex, we can tell. I got a show where she dipping them nails. I'm flipping my L's, I know they can tell. I did it too major, they hit me for favors. Been him since the cable was cut in the cradle. What's up, only right that I do it. Colossal until I'm a fossil, they want me to fail. Look, we prevail. Tell them to point out who said that they run it. Bitch, I'm on your tail. Know that they talking, they telling them tales. Just know how to tell, that shit for the sale. Yeah.
Honestly, I know it's hard to believe, but you have to trust me. It's got maximum taste and zero sugar.
Stop playing games, wooden boy.
No, I'm a real boy.
Pepsi Max. Maximum taste, zero sugar. Try and believe.
What do you see here? Maybe history, or maybe it's the future.
Amarti mi consola. Amami ancora. Fallo dolcemente. Un anno e mezzo, un'ora.
Tonali plug-in hybrid, a new charge of sportiness.
Rightio then, so we are back and we are just waiting for the lobby to be restarted and sorted. But while we'll wait, me and Mike will try our absolute best to entertain you guys and see how we get on with the lovely you lot and chatting to you guys really. So Mike, let's have a discussion about qualifying. What are your thoughts on that session? And like I keep saying, surprised that CPI on top as they usually would be.
Yeah, I mean, Frank gets out of nowhere, putting it on pole position on the 1 minute 7.5. Obviously, 13 thousandths of a second ahead of Guyton, who joins him on the front row. And obviously, as we mentioned, top 5 covered by just over 8 hundredths of a second. And the entire grid was separated by 7.5 tenths. So from Frankis down to top in last 7.5 tenths, separating all 19 drivers. So very close amongst them all.
Yes, absolutely close, and that's what we like to see. But no, that was insane. Obviously, when I start on every league race, I always say this: I expect drivers to be like half a second to a second away from each driver. But to be given the honour to do league racing like this, the results you get of drivers with every single driver from P1 down to P19 being within a second is absolutely crazy. But then there's some drivers, so I believe P1 down to P4, only separated by thousandths, which is even more insane and absolutely crazy. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal qualifying session. Last race, Mike, obviously we had at Texas, a very interesting track, and CPI did really well there. One of their drivers was able to pit for a fresh set of soft tyres and absolutely fly through the grid, and yeah, just absolutely crazy. So, like you keep saying, CPI on top, they are with it, on it like a car bonnet. They're pushing so hard, getting fantastic points left, right, and centre. You said, I believe it was at the start of the season, they weren't really there. They weren't really competitive. They weren't really challenging for anything. It was relentless on top 24/7, day in, day out. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, CPI on top, cracking on really, and getting to where they need to be. But no, Mike, it's been a great season so far. I'm guessing you would probably have to agree with how close racing's been, wheel to wheel, and some insane wheel-to-wheel action to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's been absolutely incredible in terms of like how the season has gone this far. I mean, as we mentioned, obviously, at the start of the season, it was relentless. I mean, I believe the first race of the season saw Relentless take a 1-2 finish.
Yeah.
So they already opened the account in a dominant fashion. And of course, with that, I mean, they built on it going into race two. And then after race three, you started to see CPI creep up on him, creep up, keep creeping. They're going to be closing in on him. And then, obviously, after the results in Qatar, CPI finally took the lead, and last week in Kota, they managed to extend the lead
Yeah.
there. So, I mean, 100%. It's been a tale of two halves of the season thus far, but let's not forget as well, the best team performance right there in terms of qualifying was X Esports.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They're not too
X
far away.
Esports out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. Which is
I mean, we've got.
what we'd have to see.
I mean, Gaitan is going to be starting from the front row ahead of both Volcano and Yulgrim, so that's the way he wants to be. And obviously, the second Aston Martin of trying to remember off the top of my head now, memory is absolutely terrible. But yeah, the second Aston Martin started at, finished ahead of Luca, and obviously we saw Taupe well down the order at the back. That's putting Relentless under considerable amounts of pressure, and
Yeah.
honestly,
100%.
I wouldn't be surprised if X Esports put in a late charge. I mean, we saw at the start of the season, Relentless, middle of the season, CPI. Will we see X Esports at the end?
I mean, if X Esports want to be in contender for the championship, if we move over to that screen very, very quickly, as you can see on the screen, obviously X Esports are in third place at the moment with 170 points. So they're quite far off from Relentless and CPI with this round and 3 more rounds remaining. But like you say never, because if XP Esports do well today, and then the day before, and then the next one, and so on, they could be in contention for a potential fight for the championship, because anything can go down to the wire, and anything can potentially happen. But that is true. We're seeing a repeat pattern. We're seeing a pattern of, like you said, we're seeing what's the name? We're seeing Relentless, on top at the start of the season. Then halfway through the middle of the season, we're then seeing CPI on top. And now, like you say, are we going to see X Esports now on top and try and steal the championship away out of the hands of CPI? But a big question is, they can't take too many risky gambles. So have they got the race pace? And is there enough races to do what they need to do? Or is time running out ever so slowly or quickly?
Well, I think there's definitely still enough races to go. Remember, obviously, as we mentioned earlier, the point system in here. I mean, 30 points for a win, 25 points for second place. A 1-2 for X Esports here essentially puts them on the same points as what we have CPI on right now, because CPI effectively, actually, no, it would put them ahead of CPI's current points if they got a 1-2 here for X Esports. I would put them on the top of my head, it'd be 225 points. So it's definitely 100% possible, and you never know what can happen in racing. I mean, we've seen one Relentless driver not really have a best of race, and that's allowed CPI to really close up and obviously overtake them, with both of their drivers been doing well. The same thing could happen with CPI. We don't know.
That is very true. We'll just see what happens. We'll just wait in to get this lobby ready after the lobby restart. I am very, very excited to see how it performs today and who can get off the line well at the start. But no, points, it's not bad, 30 points for P1, like you said. P2's 25, third, 20 points. Yeah, I mean, never say never, but I don't know. I don't know if X Esports have enough of a challenge and a gap to close down and try and set a challenge. That seems like a bit too much for X Esports, but like I say never.
Well,
to a challenge.
I mean, here's the thing I'll say about it. Obviously, Brazil, we don't know whether it's going to be wet or dry. First of all, obviously, a wet race at Brazil can definitely throw a few spanners in the works.
Yeah.
Singapore is a track of attrition where you need to keep it out of the walls. And that's going to be more important than actual raw pace now. You just got to keep it consistent, keep it out of the walls, and get to the checkered flag, and you're going to be seeing some good points there. France is usually a straight DRS train where one penalty can cost you so much, and then you
That is
got
true.
Spa, similar to France, is usually a bit of a DRS train, but again, rain can come into effect there, and that can absolutely throw things up in the air. And also, you're looking at some of the corners at Belgium. It's going to be it's going to be difficult to keep up with because obviously you got people going for lunges into the bus stop chicane, into into La Source, into the Coms. Like there's going to be so many opportunities where potentially you could see a relentless driver fall down the order, a CPI driver fall down the order, and that could give the opening for an XE Sports to come through and gain the points that they need.
Yeah, that is very, very true. So we'll see how that plays out today in the key factor. Of course, I'm very, very, very excited to be doing Singapore very, very soon. Hopefully by your side, Mike, because we've got the new track layout for Singapore, and it's quite interesting. Of course, that I think it's the bridge part, that chicane bit there, has now disappeared, and that's now gone. So it's just literally one DRS straight and then no DRS but a massive straight. So obviously, could setup changes potentially change for Singapore, would you say?
I mean, definitely could be a little bit tailored towards a straight line top end speed. Honestly, for me, as a bit of an old guy, a bit of an old geezer, I miss the old chicane. I miss the old chicane that had the horrible curves.
I mean, I can understand that because, of course, if you want to get into that chicane part and absolutely nail it, that is what you call fantastic and fabulous, fabulous driving from all the F1 races in real life and on this game as well. Because that chicane can be quite technical and quite challenging. Because if you get it wrong, you're going to be, unfortunately, you're going to be in the wall. So hopefully that doesn't happen at Singapore. But about Brazil, there's not many walls here at Brazil, so you should just be all right. Of course, there's a few uphill sections. I know there's a few uphill sections in Sector 2 and Sector 3 from the exit 11 till 12. And there's an uphill section, I believe, from 11, not 11, 5 till 6 and 7 around there. Because as you're going uphill, it can slightly unbalance your car, ever so slightly, as you can't see the top of it. So you could get your line completely wrong, lose the back end and spin around. And that's the same for turns 1, 2 and 3. If you get your exit completely wrong there, you could find yourself round or getting a very horrible exit and losing quite a few valuable positions.
Yeah, absolutely. The elevation changes around this circuit is definitely going to be one to keep an eye on. Obviously, as you mentioned, going downhill for the center S's, that's going to be a key place as well in terms of trying to not overstep the limits and pick up warnings because it's so easily done there. And obviously, when you're side by side battling another car, it's even more crucial to make sure you don't pick up a warning there. As you mentioned, the run up the hill through Ferrajula, I mean, side by side going up there, if you are side by side up there, you are holding on for dear life going into that corner side by side because a little bit of contact, wheel to wheel contact, and that's enough just to send you off. Absolutely.
It's very true. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully no drama happens at Brazil, but every track we go to, there's bound to be drama. We're getting going into the race in 5 seconds' time, and we'll see how it gets on. Mike, I believe you deserve it, and we'll get you to do the lights out if you'd like to. So when that happens, it'll be over to you. Make sure you have a voice box though, and make sure your voice box doesn't die on lap 1 because there could be a lot of chaos at turn 1 and a couple of corners in sector 2 as well.
Okay, right. We'll do a quick check. Yep, testing 1 2 1 2. Yep, yep. We're all good.
That's good to hear. So make sure your voice box is all ready and pumping to go. But it shouldn't be too chaotic. But you never know. You never know what can happen because it could be crazy. It could be crazy.
100%. Something just fell off the side, but that's apologies to anyone that heard that. Someone just fell off the side next to me. But yeah, as you mentioned, turn one is going to be one of those corners where if you get off to a good start, you could be down the inside or trying to hang it all the way around the outside through turn one. It's going to be a key zone off the start, I think, in terms of trying to get through there cleanly as well. I mean, we've seen instances in the past at turn one at Brazil where sometimes it's a lock up and you just go straight on and into another car, or you take too much of that inside curb and you lose it through turn one. So it's a balancing act.
It is indeed a balancing act. So, like I say, and like you're saying, let's just see what happens on lap one and see how the drivers get on. What tyre strategy are we predicting today? Are we predicting medium hards, potentially soft tyres? What are you thinking?
I mean, I would be inclined to think that everyone would be starting on the hard tyres early on, just to keep the strategy open in case of an early safety car. Maybe do a medium stint instead of going straight from hards to mediums. Potentially if there's an early safety car, but it's going to be interesting. But we're going to go to those 5 red lights now to get us underway here, and it looks like a jump start there for Matthias Roma and several cars in behind. And my God, what has gone on at the start there? We mentioned chaos. We didn't think it was going to be this, and it's a safety car lap 1.
Oh, apparently we're going to get a restart as forced cockpit cameras on.
Force cockpit.
Yep, forced cockpit camera is on.
Ooh,
So,
I mean, that makes a little bit more sense. How,
oh, there's
the
a
drivers
Red
were
Bull in
getting
the air. Oh my goodness. Well,
Yeah, but I just seen that then, and
it's all
that
going
is
on, isn't it?
Yeah, so I know you mentioned that it can get a bit chaotic at the start, but I don't think that we was expecting that.
Yeah, I was not expecting it to be that chaotic, but well, we promise you this is going to be a lovely restart, as a lot of drivers have DNF. So I don't know, Mike. What do we talk about now? What should we chat about?
I think right now we talk about how so many drivers off the start there. I mean, it's in cockpit camera. How they weren't able to get off the line cleanly. I think we talk about that.
That was quite interesting to watch. You know, like you said, in forced cockpit camera, surely it can't be that chaotic off the line. So, yeah, that was interesting to witness that and see that. But lobby is getting remade once again, so hopefully we shouldn't have any more issues, should we? Well, fingers crossed. Yeah,
We hope.
we hope. Yes, we hope.
Well, I mean, of course. Obviously, we have to double check now with the settings to make sure that there's no no camera restricted or any assist that shouldn't be on that is allowed on, and so we're gonna have to double check that as well before we jump in.
Yep, very, very true. But we play the waiting game once again, which shouldn't take too long. Yes, Connor, you are right. You know, that was a very havoc start, a bit chaotic start, but it happens. Sometimes people do forget. It can be a human error, so we just have to abide by that and just take it as a brush of mistake. It happens, but hopefully it doesn't happen again, because that start was quite chaotic. Obviously, I know you're on cockpit camera, but you know that was a bit. I don't need to say. I don't know if you agree with me, but that was a bit interesting, because even if you're on cockpit camera, surely, you know, you can't be that much of a. You know, can't be that difficult, if you know what I mean, to just get off the line gently and then retire, not make it look like absolute craziness, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the thing as well. It's like I get obviously if you're stuck on cockpit cam, you're not used to it and that, but
Yeah.
it shouldn't be that bad when you're getting off the line. I mean, the revs and everything that you need to get off the line, it's going to be exactly the same granted, you don't have the lights on your screen as normal to get that perfect time, but there's still lights on the side of the track and at the top in the front, so you can still see the 5 red lights going out. So it's a bit mad.
It was a bit mad, but to be honest, it doesn't matter, you know. Like we say, mistakes happen. It's not the end of the world. That was kind of funny and kind of fun to watch that chaotic and crazy start. But like you say, it happens. But yeah, it just happens. Is all I can say at the moment. But lobby is being redone. Drivers will be in there shortly, and hopefully it should be third time lucky. Are we saying now, Mike? Third time lucky. It should all be together.
I mean, they do say third time's a charm, but
That is very true. But let's hope your voice box isn't too damaged, shall we say? You know, fingers crossed. You know, after that, the start you got, and then you were just like, oh my goodness, it's absolute chaos. We've got cars round. I'm thinking in my head, cars round. What's going on? Oh, I can see now.
yeah, absolutely chaotic start to the race. We are waiting on one more driver to rejoin the session, of course, and then we'll be getting ourselves back underway momentarily. And interesting enough, there was so much happening at the start, I forgot to see what the tyres everyone was on. So I didn't really see what kind of strategy they were going to be potentially going for in that first little start.
Yeah. Very, very true. Gonna be a late one today on the stream, as you know, we would normally be wrapping it up now and actually finishing around about here this time with saying our goodbyes, but we've still got a 45-minute race, so we're gonna be done. Would you say you'd say quite late today, wouldn't you, Mike? Quite late today.
Well, I mean, usually around this time, I mean, we'd have around about, I think, want to say around about 10 laps to go at
Yeah.
this stage. You know, I mean, probably around 10 past, I think, is usually like the time where it would come to an end for us. But yeah, I mean, we've got 45 minutes to go. It's definitely going to be a long one tonight. And yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, we got to say entertain the crowd while we are waiting. And of course, in fact, I'm actually going to put a question out there to the chat right now. And here's the question: what is your favorite Brazilian Grand Prix from real life?
Oh, that's a good one. You know, that's actually a good one. I'm gonna have to think about that now. I don't know. What's
And
your one?
also, I'll get to that in a minute. But also a secondary question: what's everyone in chat's podium predictions as well for this race?
Very good idea, and good discussion to talk about. Ah, podium. Who would you say? I'd say X Esports. Surely, they've got the race pace today. CPI could be on the back foot today of, you know, race pace wise, but see what happens. But also Frank in
Well,
that house, he's really improved halfway through the season. He is showing that he can be the top step and perform really, really well.
well, this is where I'm going to put my little prediction in there. I'm going to go with Guyton for the win, Frank S for P2,
Okay,
and I'm going to go for the
go on.
final podium position, Yulbrim.
Really?
No CPI on the podium. That's my prediction.
No CPR on the podium. Oh, here we go. Connor's saying X Esports P1 and P4 and CPI P2 and P3. Okay. That is interesting predictions in the chat. But going back to your favorite Brazilian race in the chat, Mike, I can't remember what year it's from, so I might have to pick your brains for that just a second. It was when Max Verstappen did that wonderful drift in the wet.
Ooh,
That race is the one that was my favorite, but I can't remember if it was 2012, 2011.
20. Oh no, that's way before Max Verstappen. That is 2011, 2012. What's called in the chat? They're saying 2014.
Okay, Could that be it? Actually, that might roughly. Yeah.
Well, I would say my favorite Brazilian Grand Prix is the deck chair. The deck chair Grand Prix where Fernando Alonso parked one out and just sat in the deck chair after he crashed out for McLaren.
I know that deck chair never, ever, ever gets old. We do love Fernando Alonso when he sits there on his little chair, legs back, laid back and chilling, on his little deck chair. You never know. I feel like
Also,
if he retires from out the car and out of the race, I really really think that he could potentially be having a deck chair in the back of his car. So when he retires, job done. You know, he can sit down and relax.
yeah, and what's it called in terms of a race and that I just enjoyed watching. I enjoyed. I can't remember whether it was 2012. I want to say it was 2012. What's it called the battle between for the title? It was Alonso versus Vettel, and I think it was Vettel overtaking Schumacher that secured him the world title, if I remember correctly from the top of my head. Alonso went on to win it, and Vettel won the championship on points because he managed to make that overtake. And it was like a passing of the guard between the German drivers.
Yeah. So that was insane.
You were thinking never knew. You were thinking never knew. I had the stream open and I saw your faces and I was like, trying to remember this race now.
I am actually trying to remember. I am very tired at the moment, to be honest, as well. So that probably doesn't help. And thank you, Connor, for DMing me the clip. It was from 2014 at Interlagos. That's when Verstappen did his wonderful and fabulous drift. In free practice, it was actually. That was quite interesting. And then it was some point in the race in the wet as well. So also quite interesting. But we should be getting on the way very, very shortly. But I don't know what's happening because a few drivers slightly annoyed that we are starting very, very late and they want to cut down the race distance. But I don't know what's going on.
Well, we are still waiting for one driver to join.
Yeah.
Which is obviously not ideal. In terms of how everything is, like, we do have to put everyone in their correct grid positions again. So that's another thing. They have to reset the grid and obviously custom order and everything. But drivers are now beginning to get a bit impatient, and of course, how this is going to affect them in the race, because it's one thing going straight from practice into qualifying into a race where you can just keep the momentum going and keep the consistency going, and you're comfortable. When you have a break for this long, a little bit of inconsistency comes into it, and a few mistakes are more likely to crop up.
Yes, 110%. So we'll see what happens when we begin. Don't know when though.
I mean, what's it called? In terms of podium predictions, I mean, we haven't really seen much in the chat from predictions on the podium.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't think we got your podium prediction as well, to be fair.
Ooh, okay. I'm not too sure. I'm struggling to understand my debate and what's going on. So, I want to say X Esports 1 and 2, and then Relentless to finish it off.
So double X Esports podium with Relentless filling out the final spot. Interesting. So neither of us have gone for CPA on the podium.
I mean, I know there is one person in the chat called Connor on FM. He's saying X Esports P1 and P4, and he's saying he would like to have CPI P2 and P3. So that's an interesting prediction as well.
I can't lie. I'm just going to say it now. That's a bit of a boring prediction from Connor. I can't lie.
That is true. It is a bit of a boring prediction, but we'll just move on ever so slightly. Of course, these are jokes. So don't take them seriously. We're just trying to have a bit of fun and stuff like that as we're getting ready for the race once again. And Mike, hope your voice box is ready. Here you go. Have fun. Over to you when the race begins. Strategy-wise, I'm thinking medium hards, mediums, or potentially hards to soft tyres. That can work around this track.
It can work. Another thing that's going to be crucial around here is, of course, the undercut, which around this track is quite good. And I've seen it many times now. Undercut works to perfection around this track, so it's going to be interesting to see how everything's going. Obviously, Connor in the chat saying, it's a pretty spot on comment from myself there, and that's why you gotta make it, Connor. That's why it has to be made. But yeah, waiting for the drivers now to select their setups, and this is very crucial as well to make sure they do remember their race setups. And of course, we are having a bit of a gap, making sure everyone does have their race setups. Another thing that's going to be interesting is the fuel mix as well. Are people going to underfuel expecting safety cars, or are they going to put in enough fuel to get them to the end? We'll find out though as we go to those 5 red lights to get us underway. Hopefully less chaotic than the first time, but we are underway here in Brazil. Looks like a very good start there from Francis, holding on to the race leaders. Fight Me Now Bot gets through on Spec Lap side by side with Luca for P6. Volcano and Yulbrim, Relentless CPI going at it through the Curve of the Soul, and it looks like Volcano gets through, and we got Gaitan up for the race lead down the inside into turn 4. Beautiful stuff from Gaitan.
That was absolutely fantastic. Now Luca getting up past Spec into P6, and Taupe up into 2 positions now, getting ahead of Luke and Monkey, I believe it is, and up into P16. We've got Nay down or up into P11. There's actually a spin or something. Someone's round. That's David with no front wing, and that's another driver off. That's going to be Monkey as well off at turns 7 and 8. Wow, it's all kicking off, and now it's promoted Taupe up into P15. Trying to regain some more positions, more points than he can score today to help his team out and crack on with some excellent performance of driving. But so far, it's going to be X Esports to take the lead so far of Guyton in that Aston Martin. Frank behind, around about 3 tenths behind, and there's more challenge going on. There's Volcano going for a challenge on the Haas car down to turn 1. And is he going to get the move done? Or he does. He defends and shuts the door right there on Frank, and up into P2.
Fight Me Now Bot.
Yeah,
Fight Me Now Bot in the back of Francis is yeah, they pulled a bit of a gap to Yulbrim in behind, but look at this. Fight Me Now Bot around the outside of turn 4. A little bit of contact between the pair of them, and Fight Me Now Bot off track, and Yulbrim back through. Luca is going to sneak through as well on Fight Me Now Bot. Down into P6 goes the XE Sports driver, the Aston Martin. Fight Me Now Bot losing out heavily there after trying to go for the final spot on the podium. He's down to P6 on those medium compound tyres.
That is very, very true. Now Fight Me Now Bot might go for a lunge up the inside or outside, but he doesn't. He backs off and almost runs into the back of Luca though. But he's staying behind just for now and trying to get a good momentum, good exit. But when Fight Me Now Bot went off track from a little bit of contact, I believe, by himself and Frank, I don't know why, but that reminded me of Lewis Hamilton and the Max Verstappen moment. So it was almost ever so quite realistic. But now we've got Luca right on the back of green. The house going defensive into turn 1. And actually, oh my goodness, Luke with the inside of the lunge for desperate times and desperate manner.
Oh, contact!
And they're both round. The Red Bull and the AlphaTauri come together. And that is major contact between the two of them. What on earth has happened there?
Controversy between the Relentless and CPI team here, and I mean, we said anything can happen. Look at the X Esports teams; both of their drivers up in the top 4 right now.
Yeah, that's what's absolutely crazy. Obviously, 1 in P1 and 1 in P4. This is what they need right now to get back in the championship fight if they want to put any pressure on the top 2. So they've got a lot of work to do. There's a Mercedes behind Aroma trying to get around the Haas of Vet, but isn't able to find a way through just yet. But that was absolutely unbelievable. I'm not expecting that whatsoever. As we're on lap number 3 now, so Volcano will get the lovely hand of DRS on the exit. I don't know what exit is. I believe it's turn 12. or 13 where the detection zone is, around about there. But Volcano up into P1 and breezes by the Aston Martin. But the Aston Martin might breeze by once again on the exit at turn number 3. Of course, the Aston Martin will get the lovely hint of DRS, and he will. Is he going to go for the switch, and is he going to go for the move? Down to turn number 4 now. He's going to pull to the outside and try for a move there. The AlphaTauri will go defensive, and that might unsettle his car ever so slightly and might wish the Aston Martin into a lunge, but no, he stays behind for now. But Roma right on the gearbox, ever so slightly on the Hassel ahead. Absolutely crazy that Bream and Luca came together. And there's more drama as the 8th round. He's now dropped down to P12 on lap number 4. Yeah, there's too much going on. There's too much going on, mate.
Down the inside of Frangus, there's a little bit of contact between the pair of them. They go battling once again, the Haas and the Aston Martin. Little bit of contact and they're both gone. Oh my god.
And that brings out a safety car.
More controversy here in this race. We saw collisions between the two teams in P1 and P2 in the championship, and now we've seen a collision between two teams in P3 and P4 in the championship.
Yeah, and now we're getting a lot of drivers coming to the pit lane. That's going to be the Williams, AlphaTauri, Bream will carry on, Frank in, Luca in, for a switch to, I don't know what compound do they go to. Obviously, some are on the hards, so they might go to the mediums. Some of the mediums might go to the hards. So,
I mean, I can't lie. Obviously, coming into the pits, I mean, Volcano was putting a fresh set of mediums. ORT rode you well, putting on a set of the hards. Mediums for Fight Me Now, but Luca and Frankis. And I want to point this out as well. This was very sneaky. Obviously, coming into the pits, both Frankis and Fight Me Now Bot were ghosted as they entered into the pits. And Fight Me Now Bot ghosted through Frankis to overtake him on the entry into the pit lane.
yeah, so I just have no words. It's absolutely crazy what's happening. Like, chaos, and I say that, and someone's off. Fight Me Now Bot's off the track. So even more chaos and drama happening. And that was Fight Me Bot trying to catch the safety car, and he just completely went straight on at turn 6. He just couldn't stop the car from having its funny few moments and just went straight instead of actually taking the corner itself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Frank. It's all going on. Frank's been affected by the contact between Fight Me Now Bot. Obviously, Guyton's still in P1 at the moment.
Actually, I know what this is. I know exactly what this is for Fight Me Now Bot. This, I believe, is rear wing damage for him.
Ah. Oh my goodness, that's not good then.
The ex-esports driver struggling to go through these corners, and I think, yeah, he's going to come into the pits, and this could be a straight retirement for Fight Me Now Bot if it is rear wing damage. And in terms of rear wing damage, there's absolutely nothing you could do. Like, the back end will just not stick whatsoever. It is actually a lot more dangerous to drive with the rear wing damage than to stay out. And yet, Fight Me Now Bot comes into the pits and retires from the session. So the ex-esports team down one driver due to rear wing damage after the contact between Frankis and Fight Me Now Bot coming through the final sector. And we got to look as well, maybe Frankis also has picked up rear wing damage, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see Frankis lose it as well, because both of their rear wings did hit the wall there through the final sector. And of course, now with Volcano making that pit stop, same with Luca, it's put the Relentless boys ahead of the CPI boys again.
Yeah, that is what is interesting and absolutely fantastic, that Relentless are doing well. A nice steady recovery. Obviously P6 and P8 at the moment, this early safety car. So we're going to see if they can continue to grow that form and try and score some really good points. Because, you know, 2 drivers ahead of 1 CPI driver is really, really good. Oh, no, they're ahead of both, sorry. Both Relentless drivers are ahead of CPI, so it's a good start. That's a good start from the build-up from there and onwards.
Well, I mean, I hate to obviously revert ourselves back to around about 5-10 minutes ago where we did do the predictions, but your prediction's completely out the window now.
Yeah, my prediction is yeah, it's gone. Yeah, it happens. You know, it happens. But hey ho, we move on. We strive to go with that. So I need a new prediction now, don't I?
Yep, same with Connor as well in chat. His prediction's out the window as well. So Connor, if you've got a brand new prediction, now's the time to get it in.
Maybe Relentless 1 and 2. Maybe.
I
Well,
know, I'm
Volcano
so
is really quick, so Volcano could just storm through the field as well.
I'm still keeping with Guyton for the race win. I can't lie.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Geisen could take the race win. It's just all about like patience and what's going on here and there. But a lot of positions being gained by a few drivers, and a lot of free position as well being gained. Of course, as the safety car is going to be in this lap where all the drivers will not have to slow down because obviously the safety car's going in. So now Guyton has control of the pace, so he will wait for the safety car to enter the pit lane, slow the grid down to a minimal speed of safety, and then he'll go when he feels comfortable and feels ready. You don't want to go too early because you don't want to do a massive toe down the massive straight we have, the massive straight that we have here at Brazil. So that could be another key factor. The safety car is in, so the Aston Martin will pounce any moment now. And he's gone. He has gone.
And look at this, Matthias Romer immediately on spec lap, and he's going to be looking for this move around the outside into turn one.
Ferrari as well behind.
Yeah, Nathan trying to go around the outside of Yobrim. He'll have the inside for turn two. Little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, but they're going to be side by side through the curve of the soul. And it looks like Clark is going to be staying ahead.
Put his nose in as well. Down at turn 4. Going past Relentless. Maybe 2 Relentless drivers. 2 moves, and that's another safety car. Eh?
I mean, Luke was quite some way off the back, so I'm wondering if he had an instant there that triggered the safety car. But yeah, I mean, Volcano, he just had the perfect buy one get one free offer. He went for an overtake on one Relentless driver. He's got the other one absolutely free.
Very true. I don't really know what happened there because no one was really off track. So,
like I said, Luke was a couple of seconds off the back of the pack, so I'm wondering if he had a moment and it just triggered it.
It could have done, but that would have been an interesting trigger if that was to cause it. But hey ho.
Well, also, important thing now, obviously, Volcano getting through on both Relentless drivers in that short space of time as well puts him in a very prominent position in this race, and both Nathan and Yobrim into the pits along with the likes of Vet, Monkey and Wezel.
Yeah, so a lot of drivers coming to the pit lane now. They're going for a different change to the tyres. Let's see what they are. Are they going to be fresh mediums or fresh hards? I don't know if the mediums can make it to the end of the race. What do you think?
I personally don't see the mediums going all the way to the end from you, but I mean, medium soft I think would probably be like the strategy these guys would be going for now. But we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Nathan coming out with a fresh set of mediums, fresh mediums for Vet and Yobrim. Monkey going back on the hard tyres that he took off originally. Same with Wezel as well. So they're going back onto the tyres that they had on earlier in the race. Interesting dynamics now, because Taupe is in a bit of a CPI sandwich, and I wanted to bring this up under the safety car last time, but both Velocity teammates up there in 4th and 5th right now.
Yeah. VJ, no idea actually. I mean, Mike was saying that there was a Ferrari round in one of the corners, but it's a bit of an interesting choice, we didn't really know why.
VJ, he was a couple of seconds off the back of the pack, so I can only assume that it was a small mistake and they triggered the safety car because there were plenty of cars within the vicinity of it, which usually is how the safety cars end up getting triggered. If there's an incident and there's close vicinity to other cars, then it will trigger for the most part. But yeah, lap 10, we are still under full course safety car. Yeah, the second one of the race. It's not as chaotic as the cockpit cam start, but it's definitely been a chaotic start to the race. Obviously, Fight Me Now brought out of the race, and what appeared to be rear wing damage on his Aston Martin, causing him to be out, and of course, collision between Yulbrim and Volcano early on, and that not Volcano, Luca and Yulbrim. Absolutely dropping them all the way down.
Yeah. So hopefully the safety car should be in this lap. If so, Mike, we'll let you take on board with the restart as I did the last one, and see how we get on. And hopefully, not another one. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, they're trying to extend the stream up to 10. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Game knows what it's doing. Wants the watch time. Guyton now going to be controlling the pace as the safety car is in this lap. And now he has Henke in behind him, obviously on 9-lap all mediums. They wouldn't have been worn to the same degree as 9 laps, so he definitely should still have the grip and the pace to get through on Guyton if he gets a good restart here. But the Aston Martin going to control the pace, back up the pack now. So safety car does come into the pit lane, and when Guyton wants to get us underway, we'll be back racing once again. Francis and David trading positions as everyone getting very close and bunched up to each other. Need to be making sure that they don't get any time penalties as it looks like we're into the pits. And yeah, Guyton gets us underway once again, and a pretty decent restart once again from the Aston Martin. Holds on to position as Volcano is, sends it down the inside of Manduka for P5.
Yeah. Fantastic restart there.
He's got to land back through. He's got to land back through.
Oh, okay.
Volcano Manduka back through, and that has caused him to be overtaken by his teammate as they're side by side now. And yeah, you got Taupe in the mix as well. Taupe trying to get through on Volcano, successful in his manoeuvring, and also Luca now getting through on Manduka. So we got Luca versus Duca right now for P5 and 6. Taupe getting through on Volcano. Luke and David side by side right now, and in behind, look at that! Yulbrim sends it down the inside of the pair of them. Absolutely fantastic from Yulbrim. If he can get this to work, he can't. As you got Nathan sending one down the inside of David. David getting absolutely hung out to dry by these guys on fresher tyres in behind him. As here comes Yulbrim now down the inside, breaking later into Jun Chao, and that is an absolutely fantastic move from Yulbrim. Nathan now on the back of his teammate for P9, potentially going to be going for an overtake as you got Volcano getting through on Trout up ahead as Taupe up ahead as yeah, both of these guys making overtakes, getting themselves back up the order, and it's a 1 second gap now between Manduka and Luca, who's all over the back of Matthias Roma. Yellow flag in sector 1 as that looks to be David around, and Luca gets through into P4, and Yulbrim's had an incident somewhere because he's all the way back down in P14 again.
Yeah, fantastic. I don't know what to say. It's just chaos, isn't it? Absolute chaos.
Well, I mean, we said at the start of the stream. I know it seems a very long time ago, but anything can happen in these final few rounds, and of course these races are very unpredictable as well for the end of the season. So we mentioned about the probability of X Esports closing up in the championship, and obviously CPI having a shaky race. As it currently stands, it's actually going well for CPI because they are actually performing very well as Volcano gets through on Manduka, and Lucas trying to get through on Spec Lap for P3. Nathan Clark setting a new fastest lap of the race. That will surely be beaten later on in the race, that is for sure. And yeah, I mean, what we're seeing right now is CPI once again in a position where they are going to be taking their way further ahead in the championship.
Yeah, they are indeed. So CPI really know what they're doing at the moment. controlling what they need to do and just flying away, and some drivers not boxing just yet, but a few have boxed, so they'll have the upper hand for now, but obviously over the tyres towards the end of this race can be a bit of a interesting factor, but like I said, see what happens, won't we?
Yeah, absolutely. As Nathan's around.
Oh no!
He's lost it through turn 10. Lost it through turn 10. Nathan Clark around, losing that Ferrari, and he was doing such a good job making his way up the order. And there's that Luke around. It's heartbreak for the ERT team. Both drivers around in a matter of minutes of each other.
I'm sorry, but it's all going on as Lucas has the fastest lap time for 1:06, and we've got someone switching positions, and I think that's I believe that's Henke getting swallowed up, and oh, look at this, Luca trying to get around the you could say outside of the Aston Martin, but he's not. He's not now to defend from the Alfa Romeo. The Alfa Romeo is actually trying to come back. Oh, it's all going on. It's crazy, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. It has all kicked off here in Brazil. Vet comes into the pits, retires from the session. Manduka obviously coming into the pits, putting on a fresh set of mediums as well. He's down the order. David also came into the pits and retired from the session. Guyton being overtaken by Luca side by side as they come through the middle sector, and Luca's going to get through on those medium compound tyres. But Guyton, his tyres only a few laps older, but he should begin, if he can stay within DRS, he shouldn't be that long until his tyres become the better tyres. But a little bit of a snap, and that's going to allow Henke now to have a look on Guyton for P2 here, as the gap is beginning to open up between Luca and Guyton.
Yeah, true indeed, and apologies for that loud bang. I kind of dropped my phone on some of my glasses. We don't talk about that. I kind of scared me a little bit, but oh my...
Spec lap. That move came out absolutely nowhere. Meanwhile, up ahead, Guyton and Henke still side by side through the center S's, and absolutely incredible stuff. Volcano, very opportunistic lunge down the inside. Spec lap needs to settle down now for P5. But yeah, CPI absolutely flying now in this race. Lap 15 of 36.
Yeah, and while I'm smashing glasses, we've got some insane moves happening up at P4 area. So CPI now wanting to get on with it and try and progress up the order. So Guyton could be under a lot of pressure here from Volcano. He could send it, and he doesn't. He stays behind just for now. DRS should be enabled, or is it not enabled?
Yeah, it's enabled.
Oh, lovely. So it is enabled. So Guyton's going to be under a lot of pressure on the exit of 12. Just look at the grip that Volcano has got on those tyres at the moment. But they are pretty old as well, so not boxed just yet. But here goes the Aston Martin trying to defend as they've both got DRS down to turn 1.
Oh, the switch back to the inside from Volcano. He sends it.
He's sending it.
He's on that inside curve.
Oh, the inside curve just unstuck this car ever so slightly. So the Aston Martin actually won't get DRS here. Oh no, he will. But a bit more momentum for a Volcano, and he's through. And the Aston Martin might try to switch back here, but can't get the deed done. And that is Volcano up into P3 and provisionally P2 very, 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 very shortly.
Yeah, Guyton, that flashing red light on the back of Volcano's car right now is absolutely wonderful to see if you are Guyton right now. He has just seen that flash of red light on the back indicating that Volcano has less than 10% ERS. So Guyton now has all the information that he needs to make an overtake back on Volcano here.
Yes, 100%. And he's definitely not wrong there. So let's see what happens. So having a look right now on board with Guyton. He's not close enough. And there is yellow flag. Someone's round on some part
That's
of the track.
ORT driver of Road Jewel.
Oh, hello. Volcano. I believe that must have been a massive lunge getting past Henke now. And it's the CPI 1 and 2. But could Volcano be under pressure here from the Alfa Romeo, which might fight this one back? He can't. He doesn't have the straight line speed, so they're starting to struggle now. They're starting to struggle.
Yeah, of course, the 4-lap fresher tyre is definitely helping out both Luca and Volcano here in this race. We're on lap 17. Of course, there's a CPI 1-2 right now. Luca ahead of Volcano, and now are we going to see the CPI team tactics where Luca might back up a little bit to make sure Volcano has DRS on him.
I mean, that could be a strategy gamble play, but if you think about it, if Luca does that, would that mean he'll be under threat from the driver behind? Because then he's pulling the drivers with him and he wants to start creating a gap, but nevertheless, we'll see what happens. On to lap number 18 now, and Volcano trying to push and get to where his teammates are meant to be, so it's all about the exit of turn 1. If Volcano can get a really good exit, then he could try and break the DRS from Henke behind, but that Aston Martin is getting quite close to the gearbox of the Alfa Romeo. Could Guyton be sending up a move and see Monkey get up here now and get past Westside, who drops down to P9, so they've got a bit of a spicy battle at the moment. But here comes the Aston Martin, straight on speed, quite good actually on that car, and Volcano around about 1.3 seconds behind as Westall gets back ahead of the Alpine and up into P8 now, so there's a bit of a spicy battle happening for 8th and 9th place at the moment, but our eyes are fixated on the top 4.
Yeah, absolutely. Henke getting close to the back of Volcano as Guyton was getting close to the back of Henke. No moves being made thus far, but this is where I was thinking about the CPI tactics and whether it would work or not. If Henke uses his ERS and DRS to overtake Volcano, yeah, he should be within 1 second of Luca, and the big mistake there for Volcano. Henke now an opportunity here to potentially go for P2 in this race, as the flashing red light on the back of that Alpha Tauri is going to be absolute dinner light eyes for Henke here around the outside into the center exit. Volcano's going to hold the inside, and he's actually going to hold on to the race lead. P2.
He is indeed, but Henke might try and come back here, but Volcano using all the battery he can to try and defend from the driver behind, and after all that massive defending with himself and the driver behind, and that moment he's lost about 2 or 3 tenths to his teammate ahead, so he's actually struggling, I believe, on those tyres now, as Guyton trying to put pressure on the Alfa Romeo to try and tell the Alfa Romeo, come on buddy, you need to speed up a little bit and get ahead of P2 here because you're holding me up.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, if you're Henke right now, are you thinking about the pit stop right here, right now?
I mean, I would pit now for a fresh set of tyres, because there's got to be a chance that Volcano's got to box again, because there's no way he can take his tyres to the end of this race, because they're going to be on popping territory, we say. But saying that, he still stays out, and he's not thinking of boxing yet, but he's thinking of potentially getting on with a move here on the exit of turn 1 down to turn 2 and 3, and on the exit of 3, if he gets a mega exit, which he actually does, and he's closer than he's been closer than beforehand. But Volcano, he's just draining his battery to try and stay ahead and catch his teammate, but it's not happening, and Henke's hardly touched the battery on the last lap, and now this lap he's not even touched it.
And what we're seeing here now is obviously we saw the difference between when Volcano was coming through to now what we're seeing with Henke. Henke doesn't appear to have the confidence to go for the move, so he's using the Alpha Tauri to save up his battery, because then he can go for a good undercut and get ahead on track. That's what it looks like Henke's doing, but in doing that, he's actually inviting himself to be potentially overtaken by the likes of Guyton, Spec Lab, and Matthias Roma in behind. And let's not forget, your green was only 1.4 off the back of this battle, as we've got Matthias Roma on the back of Spec Lab here. This could be a potential overtaking
Luca's in the pit
maneuver
lane.
here. Luca in, Guyton in. And Guyton with a 5-second speeding penalty into the pit lane. Absolute heartbreak for the XE Sports team here. Obviously, Fight Me Now bought out of this race, and Guyton with that 5-second time penalty. Yeah, Luke into the pits, retires from the session. Matthias Roma does not get close enough, but speaking of getting close enough, Henke almost getting through on Volcano, who felt the need to cover the inside into turn 4. And once again, stays behind the CPI driver, and now, I mean, is Henke thinking about potentially doing a medium soft here?
I would say it's possible. He can go on soft tyres, and they will slightly last till the end of this race, so it's very marginal with those tyres. But Volcano, he's just doing all he can now on those old, or fresh-ish, old tyres. He's doing them, like you could say. 20 laps for Henke right now, so he's in puncture territory for sure. But Henke might think about boxing this lap. Don't know about Volcano to try and cover off his teammate and the Aston Martin, but we'll see what happens. And Volcano is staying out, and the Alfa Romeo is coming in.
Yeah, Henke needed to come in there. Yobrim's in as well. And this could be big for Yobrim as well, because obviously he wasn't too far off the back of that train. He's going to get a nice little undercut on the likes of Specklat, Volcano and Matthias Roma. Volcano has no ERS to his name, so he cannot really push.
Hang on a minute, Henke could get ahead of the Aston Martin here on the exit of the pit straight, which could be terrible for Guyton. Well, it's going to be close.
Oh, Guyton's got him.
Oh yeah, Guyton's just about got him. That's what you call luck right there. Absolute luck to perfection. But Guyton in P8, Luca in P7 at the moment, and trying to push, or not push too hard on those tyres, but he is draining the battery quite a bit. But Volcano, your race leader, needs to box soon, I would say.
Yeah, I would predict Volcano to be in at the end of this lap to try and cover off these guys and give them enough time to come back through. To try and take a 1-2 finish with his teammate Luca, who's technically, I mean, he's in P7 right now. You would think it's going to be the net race lead, but realistically,
yeah,
this spec lap, Das Wessel and Monkey Man need to pit again.
Exactly, and Volcano is into the pit lane. Is he going to come ahead of any drivers? We'll find out. Is he going to switch to the new medium tyres? Will be ahead of the Alfa Romeo or the Aston Martin, as that Alfa Romeo is getting very close to Guyton right now on the exit of 2 and 3. Is that Alfa Romeo thinking of getting a move done? He's got the battery switched on, and he's going to get past the Aston Martin here down the straight with DRS enabled, and that is a lovely easy move. The Aston Martin didn't really fight that one too hard, so yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, and Volcano staying out there a little bit longer. 3 seconds the gap between him and Guyton. Remember, he was ahead of Guyton on track before the pit stop phases.
Yeah, I'm having a quick look at battery-wise, and the top 3 have got a decent amount of battery, and P4 not too bad, and Luca 16% battery. That's not ideal, but the Ferrari ahead of him has about 21%, and Guyton, wow, he's got a lot of battery he has. That's quite impressive, and having a look at penalties, specs in, only 2 3-second time penalties and 1 5-second. Go out to Guyton for speeding in the pit lane, but Spec is in for a switch to get off those tyres, because he needs to get off of them. So there you are.
Yeah, as Henke sets the new fastest lap, it's a 1 minute 8.8, and I think only Spec lap on those soft tyres is going to be able to match or potentially beat that, unless someone dives in late to go for it. That's Wessel and Monkey Man battling out for P2 on track right now. And they have around about a 3-second gap to Luca in behind. Luca's got to get through on Nathan. They can get onto the back of these two. But these two, Das Wessel and Monkey Man, I think, unless they pit this lap, I think they're going to try and go to the end.
I think they will try and go to the end if they can, possibly, because drivers like to take a risk and like to take a gamble. So we will see what happens, but Luca absolutely flying with the Alfa Romeo behind him and the Aston Martin not so far behind. So it's all to play for now. All to play for now.
As Matthias Roma, he's been on those tyres since the start of this race. He comes into the pits now in the lap 24 to get off those medium compound tyres, and yeah, that's going to hand the lead to Das Wessel. Luca getting through on Nathan. Henke getting through. Henke, can he go for a potential P3 here? He's going to sit back for now, but those soft tyres are absolutely working a treat for Henke here. And potentially, I mean, is Henke going to go for it? He's going to go for it around the outside of turn 4. Henke into P3.
Oh, there was contact, I think. There was slight contact with wheel banging. That was a bit scary.
Just about make it through there without tragedy for the pair of them.
Now, Wessel needs to move out of the way here.
Yep, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to allow his teammate go all the way around the outside. And, yep, not going to make it difficult.
He's fighting him. They're fighting.
And now Luca needs to try and get through on Das Wessel. The best of his abilities, because he knows. A bit of a snap to Das Wessel, and that is heartbreak there for Luca. Yeah, Guyton on the back, but Luca definitely losing out a bit of time there. Henke into the race lead. Luca does take P3. Guyton now down the inside of Das Wessel for P4. Job done for the Aston Martin.
Phenomenal racing happening at the moment. Now Luca on the back of Monkey. Is he going to try and get his move done? It should be an easy pass, but Monkey has got DRS on the drive up ahead.
Yeah, and now this is going to be the interesting thing in that, with Monkey being a little bit of a thorn in the side in this middle sector for Luca and Guyton.
Hang on a minute.
Contact.
Monkey's off.
Contact.
There was contact there. I saw that. That was a bit of a hefty shove there from Luca, as those two are moving quite a bit around on the track. But Guyton is really on the back now of that AlphaTauri.
Yeah, and Guyton, he is going to be able to make this overtake here and now, but is it going to be enough to draw him up to the likes of Henke? Because realistically, Guyton just wants to build a gap to these guys in behind to make sure that he has enough that he can still maintain a podium with his 5-second time penalty. But here we go, it's up into P2. Luca settling down for P3. You got Monkey, Volcano, and Das Wessel free wide into turn 1. Volcano double overtake down the inside. Job done for the CPI man.
That was something I unfortunately missed, but by the sounds of it, it sounded a bit crazy. Now here comes Luca on Guyton, but it's not close enough to get a move done just yet. But Guyton now ahead of the AlphaTauri. I may try to push a little bit hard to catch up to the drive up ahead, which is going to be Henke on those soft tyres.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely, all kicking off. And interesting thing is here now, obviously, Luca, if he battles Guyton just a little bit more, he's going to allow Volcano to get in this DRS range. And Volcano being in this DRS range is going to be a little bit of an issue for Guyton, and also Henke towards the end of the race, because those tyres will fall away at the end. So he's going to drop back to the CPI period.
100%. 110%. But running on board with the drivers now, Luke isn't close enough to get a move just done at the moment. But Guyton seems to be catching Henke ever so slightly, but Guyton has got a 5-second time penalty to his name.
Here comes Luca.
Here he comes, down to turn 4. Oh, he just about gets past as well. Didn't think he was going to get the move done, but he did. That was fantastic.
It's just job done, isn't it? It's just job done. DRS done it at turn 4. It's just job done. And now we are going to see if Henke's going to have the pace and the life in those tyres to maintain the gap that he currently has. Because those tyres, they are going to fall away towards the end of the race. It's about whether or not Luca has the pace on the mediums to close up enough to really get through on Henke towards the end of this race. Lap 28 about to begin lap 29. 2 seconds the gap between the CPI man and the Alfa Romeo driver.
That is very true. So let's see what happens as Guyton's just going to keep going backwards and forwards here and getting ahead of the AlphaTauri and then going behind the AlphaTauri again. So it's all kicking off, but they're just working together, it seems. As sort of Spec getting up into P5 now ahead of his teammate, or shall I say getting ahead of his teammate, and then Wessel comes through and takes P6, and Wessel now flying on those tyres. Now Luca ahead of the Aston Martin again.
Yeah, neither Luca or Guyton are really battling with each other, just trading positions with DRS, but of course now Volcano in the mix, and now we could be seeing some CPI team tactics going on.
You know what, I wouldn't be surprised if we did, with almost 6 laps remaining of this fantastic Brazilian Interlagos Grand Prix. Absolutely spectacular today, so let's see what happens with Volcano. Is he on the fresher tyres?
Yeah.
He is. So if he gets past the Aston Martin, Luca may let him go to try and hunt down Henke.
Potentially, but we're going to have to wait and see now as here comes Volcano on the back of Guyton. Gonna go around the outside using ERS, using DRS, and on his teammate as well. Down the inside, here comes Gaiden. Gaiden gonna send it down the inside as well, following Volcano through down the inside into the center. This is contact between Luca and Gaiden.
Oh.
Back lap through.
Oh no. That's heartbreakers. LLR Monkey's going to try and make his way through at turn 4. And the Aston Martin defends that quite quickly. Of course I would if I would be quite angry at that moment. And a 5-second time penalty to Wessel for ignoring yellow flags.
Yeah, I think that one will be one that Wessel could possibly put in for a removal after the race. But yeah, contact between contact again. Luca getting involved in another incident. Obviously, he had the incident earlier with Yulbrim, and he has another incident here with Gaiden, and it's not what you want to.
Oh, Tope's gone off.
That's into turn 8.
That one.
I mean, it is possible
might have to be
to lose
looked
your car
into.
there, but yeah, I was going to say that you can lose it there, but I think that one will need to be looked at, and safety car is out, and this could definitely change the course of the final stages in this race as Volcano and Henke stay out on their tyres. Everyone else is coming into the pits as Nathan actually stays out on 5-lap old soft tyres, and that is not going to do him any good compared to these fresh softs that are going on these guys.
Yeah, indeed. We'll see what happens as there's a lot of driving into pit lane on lap 30 now. So it'll be quite a chaotic restart, but we'll see what happens here at Brazil. Of course, we will wait for drivers to line up and get ready to go.
Well, I tell you what, this race has been chaotic throughout the entire thing. Obviously, there's been some silly incidents that have gone out on track, but this could shape up as a crazy end to a crazy race.
Yes, and that's what we'd like to see and like to hear, if you know what I mean. So let's see what happens with the safety car restart. We've got to wait, obviously, a lap or two for racing speed to come back alive. So just wait and hope for the best, really.
As Henke and Volcano came into the pits, and they're going to be changing onto a fresh set of boots themselves. In terms of who gives the advantage to now, I think advantage Volcano here, because he's now literally going to have just Henke to overtake, and then obviously we've seen the pace of Volcano around this track already. He has the pace to pull away if he gets into the race lead.
Yeah. But who's for pole position? Who's gonna win?
It was...
Who's going to
well,
win it?
pole position was Frankus, but...
You know,
honestly...
he could make his way through if he gets lucky.
So here's the interesting thing now. Obviously, you got Monkey Man and Matthias Roma also with time penalties to their name.
Yeah.
Now, I am gonna go out and say on a limb that any driver inside the top 8 can take the win here. Just because I think with the safety car restart, it's going to be so chaotic. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be contact between these guys. As I say, they're going to be fighting to hold on for dear lives, and that is going to create opportunity. And opportunity is what some of these guys in the midfield and down towards the back are going to need to get themselves up there. Matthias Roma, Monkey Man, penalties to their name. Essentially, they're out of it unless absolute carnage ensues. But I also want to point out, it's actually been a very good race from the Alpine drivers of LRN. Spec Lap in P3 currently, Monkey Man in P6, but obviously with that penalty he will drop away. But it's actually been a very good race from the Alpines.
It has been, hasn't it? It's actually been a really good race from them guys today. So we'll see what happens.
So Connor in chat saying he got onto the curb and got loose from what he saw. Which obviously it can happen in that corner. It's definitely happened to me on several occasions through my league racing career, and it's why I'm absolutely horrible here. But yeah, lap 33, we're gonna have, I would assume, 3 laps of racing to go. I think the safety car will be in at the end of this lap.
I mean, you would think, wouldn't you?
I mean, you would hope so. The only way it stays out is if Manduka doesn't close up. But considering he's already through turn 5 right now, and the guys are in the middle sector, he's going to be close enough that he's on the back of him.
Yeah.
Or he'll be a late call in from the safety car now.
See what happens here. It's not coming in.
Not yet, but wait for the late call.
There it is. There it is.
And that late call obviously is going to bring the safety car into the pits, and
here we go.
I'm going to be on board with Volcano, seeing when Enki is going to be getting himself underway. You got Spec Lap in behind Volcano, and we're restarting once again to begin lap 34 of 36. And Luca immediately overtaken by Matthias Roma. And Matthias Roma down the inside of Spec Lap. Matthias Roma trying to make this work. Contact between the pair and Spec Lap picking up a 3-second time penalty. Luca coming through once again, side by side with Spec Lap as they run down in towards turn number 4. And you'll be also picking up a 3-second time penalty in the back as well.
So Luca making his way up through the grid so far. Frank not making up many positions, but late calls can happen and late blows can also happen. But your race lead at the moment is Henke up into P1. Volcano not far behind.
Oh, Nathan and Guyton side by side in the middle sector. The Ferrari and the Aston Martin do battle here as it looks like Monkey getting a little bit out of shape. Oh, Monkey went a little bit deep and I held up Guyton, and Guyton loses out another position here. So Guyton just getting caught out by Monkey, and a little bit of contact between Guyton and Frankis now for P9 and 10 as we go on to lap 35. We're on the penultimate lap now as Monkey is into the pit lane, and obviously Guyton's going to be absolutely furious with that because he got held up and lost several positions there.
Yeah. So, what can we say except it's been crazy, hasn't it? It's been crazy today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got Luca on the back of Matthias Roma now for P3. The final spot, and Spec Lap around the outside of Ferrajula. No way. Yobrim on the inside of... Oh, he's trying to send it down the inside of turn 8. This is bold and brave stuff from Yobrim as they touch wheels once again through turn 9. But Yobrim, what a move that was from the Red Bull, the relentless driver, trying to make his way up the order as much as possible. His teammate out of this race. He's going to be losing out team points in the championship. But right now, he's looking to get as many points for Relentless as possible to keep their hopes alive. And Guyton has absolutely, he's been hung out to dry here. He's down in P8. Nathan getting in the mix as well. Nathan could be looking at a good result as well with the penalties up ahead of him. Volcano, new fastest lap of the race. Remember, there's a point for fastest lap. Luca and Yobrim side by side. Little bit of contact between Luca and Yobrim as Spec Lap tried to force his way through. And now we got Nathan there. Nathan, Spec Lap, and Luca side by side as we got Volcano going for the race lead as well, side by side with Henke as they come up the hill through Ferrajula. Volcano has the inside. Henke will go for a bit of a switchback perhaps on the final lap. It's all going to be about the run out of John Chow.
Who's going to be coming on top here today? Final lap of this race. It's all kicking off. Volcano ahead at the moment, but who's going to have the advantage here?
It's going to be a drag race to the line, and we're all here for it. As here we go now, climbing up the hill for the final time in this race. Volcano He has a bit of a gap, but DRS will activate now. So that gap is going to close. Is it going to be enough for Henke? He's closing in, closing in, closing in. Oh, Volcano takes the win. Yulbrim gets onto the podium on track, but loses out, and he drops all the way back to P8. My God, look at that gap between Yulbrim, Matthias Roma, and Spec Lab. Look at that.
Insane, isn't it?
Absolutely, and obviously Gaiten comes home in P5 at the end, but my God, what an end to that race that was.
That's fantastic.
Nathan Clark gets the in-game driver of the day, and I mean, it was a good race from Nathan, obviously coming through the field towards the end and getting himself a good result at the end of the day, but it is Volcano for CPI that does take victory out there on track, and that extends the championship lead for CPI quite considerably, and it's a case of, I believe it is possible now. Possible if things go right for them next week, they might mathematically be able to win this.
Yeah, true. That is very true.
Yeah, do you want to run us through the order?
I can indeed. So, in P1, you have Volcano taking the way, Henke in P2, Nathan P3, Luca in P4, P5 to Guyton, P6 for Wessel, P7 for Frank, P8 for Green, P9 for Roma, P10 for Spec, and onwards down the rest of the grid order. Everybody scoring points here today. That was fantastic. Fantastic to watch. The CPI once again on top, as always.
Yep, CPI once again, a fantastic team performance from them. Obviously, we could potentially see the instance that involved Luca with both Yulbrim and Gaiten get investigated after the race. So, I mean, we don't know whether this will be the confirmed order moving forward. We'll have to wait for the steward inquiries and everything to happen first. But as it currently stands, that's a massive jump for CPI in the championship. And as I said, I believe that could potentially, if it all goes well for him in Singapore, could potentially win him the championship.
Yeah. So, there we are. But I think, Mike, we're going to wrap things up, aren't we?
Yeah, it's definitely been a long session. So I think everyone will be happy with it. The race is over and done with now, and we can look forward to next week at Singapore.
Yes, we do indeed. So, guys, make sure to hit that follow button if you haven't already to keep up to date with when we next go live on the Twitch channel, YouTube as well, and every single platform. If you're not already, do make sure to go and check out our Twitter. It is down below on the Twitch, I believe, or on the YouTube, wherever you're watching from, maybe on the Facebook as well. There is a Twitter link there. Click it, keep up to date, follow us on Twitter, and you can keep up to date, you know, what happens, post results and stuff like that. But Mike, you've been awesome. We've both been awesome. And guys, next week, see you at Singapore. Take care, and peace.
They been on their ass, bitch, I'm on the rail. I wrap it, I bag it, I pack it for sale. Got feeling on speed out, I hit me a chill. I give it a thrill, I put it on film. Niggas facade, get applaud, that ain't real. Come to my section and flex, we can tell. I got a show where she dipping them nails. I'm flipping my L's, I know they could tell. I did it too major, they hit me for favors. Been him since the cable was cut in the cradle. What's up, only right that I do it. Colossal until I'm a boss, so they want me to fail. Look, we prevail. Telling the point out who said that they run it, bitch, I'm on your tail. Know that they talking, they telling them tales. Just know how to tell, that shit for the sale. Yeah.
Honestly, I know it's hard to believe, but you have to trust me. It's got maximum taste and zero sugar.
Stop playing games, wooden boy.
No, I'm a real boy.
Pepsi Max. Maximum taste, zero sugar. Try and believe.
What do you see here? Maybe history, or maybe it's the future.
Amarti mi consola. Amami ancora. Fallo dolcemente. Un anno, un mese, un'ora.
Tonali plug-in hybrid, a new charge of sportiness.